All right, welcome to Master the Game RPG on Twitch. If this is your first time here, I would love to see you slam that follow button and join in the conversation. So today we are on episode 7. The Kraken crew has returned from their very first adventure to the town of Riverbend, which is their hometown for 2 of them. And last session, they were heading back from a difficult time fighting in a druid lich lair where one player lost a foot. 3 other characters just had a traumatic experience and with stick bugs and all sorts of things like that, and having their blood taken and put into vials by, druid liches and all sorts of stuff. And they had to rescue their rescuers on the path home, to which one of them was Renmer's father. And only 2 surviving mercenaries of about 12 mercenaries in that group with Renmer's father. So Renmer's father could hold his own, so that was good. But So anyways, we're going to go around, let everyone introduce their character, and then we will jump into the session. So let's do things a little backwards this time. Let's start with Eva, or Courtney. Feel free to introduce your character.
Well, I'm Cornelius, and I'm playing Eva. Eva is the paladin that doesn't know she's a paladin, but hopefully that's going to change. Hopefully she will meet her reason for paladining, possibly this episode. We'll see how things go.
Awesome. Hopefully we will. Maybe not. Depends on if you behave over there.
Okay, Juice. Thank you.
So let's hop on over to Tom. TP Grant.
I'm playing Renmore, the half-orc fighter who is currently missing a foot and having an existential crisis. I believe last session he also got called a liar when he went to claim his gold, and is finding out that the mercenary trade kind of sucks.
That dick.
Jagger was perfectly in line. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if Renmore catches him outside, there's going to be trouble.
Oh, maybe we have some trouble tonight. I better get my dice ready. A lot of them. Next up is Kelsey, Lady Tiefling, Meek.
So Meek is a tiefling sorcerer. If she was an animal, she would be a raccoon. And she puts things in her mouth that she shouldn't, so she's also like a toddler.
She has Renmer's foot.
She has Renmer's foot. She has good intentions with Renmer's foot, but she is hoarding it currently. But yeah, that's Meek.
Nice. And last, but certainly not least, is Paul Callist playing Garrick.
Yes, Garrick is a human wizard who likes to be very understated. He is average height, average build, average pretty much in every way except a gigantic, colorful scarlet macaw named Kraken that is usually perched on his shoulder. While normally Garrick is quite happy to be drunk when he's in town, he's quite upset that his friends here, who he's basically, been fighting with these past few weeks, have essentially not been enjoying themselves with Renmer's, missing foot and all. So he's decided he needs to be a little bit serious for a little bit and make something happen here.
Okay. So, like I said, last week we came back to town, and everyone kind of, for the most part, went their own ways. Meek and Eva went one way. Renmer went to the mayor. Garrick, I think you said, you went to the tavern, correct?
Yeah, I went to the tavern. I had the mercenaries that were there, and they were going to drink the dwarven wine that I was saving for Renmer. But when Renmer refused to drink with me, that just kind of put a bummer on everything. And so I decided I was going to essentially cap that bottle of wine and then leave and try to do some study.
Yes. So we will assume that the night came and you guys all retired for the evening. So you guys got a long rest. you were able to gather your thoughts and your things, and everyone was going to do their own thing. Eva and Meek wanted to seek out some things together. Renmer was going to seek out some stuff by himself, and Garrick was going to do something by himself, which was go to a library. So, Garrick, you wake up in the Tavern Inn. You gather your things, and you're ready to go out first thing in the morning as soon as you know the library might be open. You know that the library here, since you've frequented it when you're not drinking, is a smaller library. It happens to be located in the part of town which is near where Eva's church is.
Okay.
And as you are walking that way, you see Eva and Meek in the street, actually walking over to a temple.
I actually think I would actually try to probably find them.
Oh, okay.
Because I still owe them money. I still owe them money. So
Okay.
I would definitely seek them out in the morning before I went about my own business.
Okay, so then how about this? So Garrick, you're getting ready then at the Tavern Inn. We will jump over to Renmer for now. Renmer, you're at home, having just woke up then. And you wanted to seek everybody out, or you wanted to seek out Eva and Meek?
I already paid Garrick, so I think like Renmore would probably wake up early, go to the training yard, and just like without anybody seeing him, see what he could do on a crutch and be vastly disappointed, and then see Eva and Meek heading out for the day, and then like kind of crutch after them really quick and just be like, Eva, Meek, hold for a second.
I don't have any money. Oh, hey.
He says, speaking of money, and he hands you a bag of 50 gold and goes, the payment for our job. And he gives Eva $50 of gold, or a bag of 50 gold pieces. And he then kind of just hands Eva a second one and goes, you can have my cut as well.
What are you talking about? That's yours.
I don't think the mercenary life is for me. And he kind of looks down at his foot.
That doesn't mean you can't accept your final payment if you're not going to do this anymore.
I don't want this money. You can have it.
All right. And I'll begrudgingly take it from him.
May I accompany you too? I would appreciate somebody.
All right, sure. We're just going to the temple.
So Renmore's going to go with them.
So you kind of, when you found them before they really got away from her house.
Yeah.
Eva's father is walking from where the temple area is, and comes across your guys' path. When he sees Eva and Meek and Renmer, he asks you, Eva, so what exactly happened? We didn't get a good chance to talk about that last night.
That's my dad talking to me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, kind of a lot, actually. So she'll kind of look to Renmer and be like, would you like to, or should I?
You go ahead.
Not in the talking mood. All right. We set off for where the wagons had been what, attacked, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, you guys had been hired by Pieter to track down loot, we'll just call it loot, but papers from the wagons that had been attacked by bandits. Yeah.
I can't words today, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Which you discovered weren't bandits, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we traveled to where the wagons had been attacked. And we thought it was just bandits, but there was something different about them. They had bugs in their heads. Ugh.
And how did you handle that? What that sounds atrocious.
It was
with swords.
Bugs with swords.
No. That's how we handled them.
So why were you gone so much longer? I mean, you guys were supposed to be back a few days ago, and then obviously the Kraken, the bird that we call a Kraken. I don't know why. I mean, but that red macaw delivered that news that you guys were in a lair. I mean, a lich lair. What's going on there? Why? How did you end up there? I don't understand.
This is this is when I would look to Meek because I can't remember why we even went to the lair to begin with.
We went to the lair to follow the spiders. And I had a dream. I'm really good at explaining stuff. Okay, here's the whole deal. I had a dream. My hand got cut. I freaked out. We went to the lair. We killed a druid lich, and then the grass started to grow.
Renmore winces at the mention of the druid lich, expecting.
Oh, and Renmer's foot got cut off. That's also very important.
I mean,
I think that's about all that was important, right?
Eva's father just is floored.
I'm as dumbstruck as my dad, and I just pet Meek on the head.
I'm just like, I did good.
that just about covers everything.
Renmore's bracing to be called a liar by someone he respects a lot more now, and it's just like,
I just don't understand why you guys would go into such a dangerous place. I mean, you've got this poor homeless girl, you with just your basic sword training, and you with more basic sword training. I mean, and this is coming from a non-warrior, right? You know, this Eva's father is not
I'd say at the very least ex warrior. He hasn't been in a fight in a long time.
Yeah. So he's like, I just don't understand what would compel you guys to go into such a dangerous place.
A sense of adventure.
No.
And stupidity.
Probably that too.
Oh, this. Pay no attention to the child behind me.
Actually,
I don't actually say that. I just wanted to say the quote and be a dork.
Meek was totally fine with that. She's like, yeah, that makes sense.
No, well, yes, I suppose that's true, but Garrick, the wizard who was with us, the one with the bird.
Yeah, the guy who casts spells and does
Yes.
some interesting things. Yeah.
Yes.
We've heard some interesting things about how much he can drink around town.
He does do that.
As he's saying this, Garrick, you do walk up.
Gift, some call it a curse.
You do walk up from behind him, Garrick, by the way.
Okay, I'll just keep listening.
One would call it
What was that, Renly?
Yeah.
One would call it a gift. How much he drinks.
Some call it a gift, some call it a curse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Depends on who you ask, I guess. Red down there seems to enjoy it, but he does drop a lot of coin there.
that's
Sometimes
true.
he literally drops coin there and doesn't realize it.
So
That's
the
how
whole
I
time,
have the 10 gold I have.
So the whole time. God damn it!
Sorry.
So the whole time. He's my dad's talking the whole time. I'm looking between him and Garrick, who's like just behind him. Well, you're not exactly wrong.
So he turns and notices Garrick and is like,
Wouldn't
"Speak
you
of
say
the devil.
so, Garrick?"
Speak of the devil." Hey, I didn't say anything that was wrong. I mean,
We were talking about you.
Yes, I gathered as much.
Nothing untoward or more than usual about you.
Nothing untrue that I heard, so.
well, Eva, I would hate to see you get yourself into such dangerous situations again. I mean, I heard you're doing mercenary work. That's usually simple stuff. That's, help get people from one place to the other. And I just didn't think that you should be going into caves and things like that. I mean, that's beneath you. And frankly, I don't know if you have the skill set for such dirty things.
Oh, Redmore's just up for me. Eva performed exemplary.
Exemplary.
That's way outside
Exemplary.
my vocabulary, but she performed extremely well and with extreme bravery, and you should be proud of how she comported herself.
I'm very proud of her. I just don't want to see her get involved in something so dangerous. I would hate to lose my daughter. I would much rather her take up some kind of crafting. Smithing, perhaps.
That is the family business.
It is, and as my oldest, you should be taking on the family business.
Right. Of course.
Do you not have interest in this?
Oh no, I do. I just
If you're looking for help around the shop, perhaps I will be able to help you moving forward. I will likely be not pursuing the mercenary business anymore.
I mean, I could probably take you up on that, but I would really like if I could pass this on within the family. I mean, no offense. I would love to have your help around the shop, especially if you're retiring as a mercenary.
Yes, I think labor might be in my future, and he kind of like looks at his sword, though it'd be a pity to beat this fine blade into a plowshare.
I'm sure we could find somebody who would take that off your hands, or if you just want to use it for protection, I mean, there's no shame in that. So with that, Eva's dad just says, well, take care of yourself, Eva. I just think about what I said, because you're a natural when it comes to smithing, and I haven't seen many more talents beyond that. I know you're good with a sword, but I think smithing is your calling. And he starts to walk away.
I'm not laughing in game. I didn't expect that, and I don't know how to react.
What do you mean? What he said? Or being put on the spot?
A little bit of both.
He just made his intentions known. He wants you to smith.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's all. Sometimes early in the morning before his morning cup of brown, it just gets the best of him. All right, so he walks off. As he walks off, Garrick obviously has just approached. And Garrick, you were going to say something to them?
Well, that was pleasant. So we're going to be smiths now.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not very handy at being a smith, but I don't think that the world needs more smiths at the moment. I think the world needs us to do a few other things. Like, I'd like to see our friend Renmer here set whole. I've been thinking about it most of the night. Wasn't able to sleep.
Oh?
I want to put some time into researching a possible solution.
What do you mean?
Well, I know that we can go get some divine magic and possibly make him whole, but we're going to have to find somebody.
Remor's
We're
going
gonna
to
have to-
hold up a hand and be like, please, do not concern yourself with me. I will be fine. I do not need you risking yourself. I think much better would be finding out what the hell that thing was and why it was here.
Oh, well, that's part of it. I don't want to leave without trying to figure out a little bit more about what I'm dealing with. But the other thing is, I think we should try to go and put you whole. I know that we've recovered some of that green stone, and we might be able to put some of that towards the fees that would be charged for making you whole. In the meantime, I think we should just start working towards that end. And then when we have you whole, if you feel that your adventuring days are done, then so be it. But until then, I can't leave you like this. If I have to, I'll go by myself.
I appreciate that, and I will be able to find a way to make my life. I appreciate it, and you have conducted yourself with true honor, and I consider to be a friend.
With honor? What? Oh, you don't know me very well. I do all sorts of stuff when you're not in the room. But as far as you go, I feel bad about what happened. It was my idea to go in there after the Lich. When I see these things, these sources of powerful magic, I just get drawn to them. I want to find out more.
It was the right thing to do. The Lich was evil and needed to be dealt with. And if that is how my career comes to an end, I am not unhappy with it. It was something that needed doing.
Okay. I'm happy that you think so, but I also think that if it needed doing, you don't need to lose a leg over it. So let's just work on that together. It shouldn't be you going alone. It shouldn't be me going alone. We got into this problem together. We can get out of it together.
Well, we need not go anywhere alone. We were all heading in, and he turns to to Eva and Meek. Where were we heading? Where were we going?
Well, I was off to the temple, and Meek was accompanying me.
Very well.
So
I will go to the library and study a little bit more, and I will meet up with you at Eva's house later on.
So
right.
you guys would know that there's a few temples in town. There's like a temple that's open, like it's not set to any one deity. There's also a temple of Gond. There's a couple other temples of different deities. The one that's kind of open is kind of like, hey, this day, this kind of priest comes from out of town and does some preaching. It's kind of more of a community center. But they're all in the same area, and they're really close to where the library is as well. It's kind of like a district of community buildings, per se.
Okay. This is where the people who can read go.
I don't know. I guess you don't have to read to go to a temple, though.
Yeah.
Meek scoffs with you, even though she doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
So today it's really sunny. Like it's a very nice day, by the way. The roads are pretty. The dirt roads are not muddy or anything. They're pretty solid. Everyone seems pretty happy in the streets. As you pass by the town, one of the town butchers, his and it's midday. His smock is surprisingly clean. Normally, if you were to run across him in town at this time of day, it'd be covered with blood or whatever else. And he looks surprisingly refreshed, not real tired or anything. And so anyways, you keep going. Garrick, you make it to the library. When you walk in, you are greeted by a young teenage boy, and he says, "Oh, Garrick, welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while."
It's been a few days, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. You must have been full of coin, I should say.
Oh, I've found a little bit.
Are you running low and looking for some work, or what's going on now?
Well, I'm always looking for easy coin, but I was hoping to do a little bit of research.
Ah, okay. What is it today that you're looking for?
A little bit on the dwarves.
Dwarves?
The dwarves that are, I believe it was to the east of here.
Oh yeah, the ones that came from the forest, the sick forest.
Yes, over there. And a little bit on the druids of the area too, if you have anything.
Oh, we might have something. I can look. Yeah, that shouldn't be much of a problem.
Okay.
So he starts looking around, and he does turn to you and he says, "So I hope the that book about making birds obedient was helpful."
No. Not very helpful.
Oh, that's
Never
too
obedient.
bad. Okay.
He's a good bird nonetheless.
Let's see what we got here. And he's going through his catalog that he has. Let's see. Blind Worm's Venom. No. Tale of Squirrel. No. The Book of Clouds. No. Halfling Death Rites. No. That's close, but not it. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Do me a favor. Roll an investigation check while he's looking through stuff.
Can I just use my passive?
Oh, yeah. What is it, like 15 or something? 20?
22 now.
22. Jeez, oh, Pete's. Okay, so while he's doing this, you look over to the side and you see a book titled, just on the shelf, 101 Things Happening with Undead by Lord Rusevic of Stonehall Keep. And you would know he's a lord from a couple hundred years before. And you know Stonehall Keep is on a different continent.
I will go ahead and point that one out as one that looks entertaining to peruse while he's busy looking around for the others.
Okay. He continues to do his thing. So what are you looking for in the book? It's a pretty big book, right? So what is it you are hoping to learn or look for in particular?
Well, first of all, I like anything that has to deal with undead. Anything
Sure.
that has to deal with a druid lich specifically is good. And
Okay.
anything that happens to deal with that particular area as well, it would be of interest to me.
Okay. And how long do you think you would spend today reading this book?
I am a pretty quick study, so I would say I'd spend as much time as it takes me to read the book.
Okay. Well, the book is large. It would probably take more than a day to read the whole thing. You could glance through the whole thing, no problem, and try to find what you're looking for. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just essentially just kind of read through the chapters and, kind of figure out the information. And then from that point, when I find something that sounds like it would be interesting, scan a little bit more intently.
Okay. So
I don't need to know it
Sure.
cover to cover, but if I could,
Sure.
try to get down to what I'm looking for.
So looking through it, some stuff that kind of stands out is you see something about the rituals to become a forever caster, which you would know as being a lich. There's nothing in here that strikes your fancy about being a druid lich. It doesn't tell you how to do it. It just tells you like there are different things that you can do to become a lich. It requires certain items. It requires a certain ritual and a lot of years of study. And then you can see some other stuff about maybe some things that a lich can do. Some more advanced things like of undead, such as summoning minions. The power that some liches can hold over people, such as mind control. Being able to with something off of a person, they can haunt your dreams. They can create duplicates of you, like clones, and all sorts of crazy things. As you're skimming through this,
the part about the clones, is there anything more specific?
it tells you it's usually a ritual of some sort. It will require blood. It will require something of value off of a person, like not value, but like personal like somebody who slept with a baby blanket their whole life. It would be like the baby blanket or their teddy bear, something personal to that person, their favorite weapon that they prize, things like that.
Okay.
As you're looking through this, the librarian comes up and says, "I found this book. I've never seen it before, and it's fairly new. I don't know how it got in here." And he sets it on the table right next to you. And it says, "The Druid Order of the Seven." And it doesn't have an author. It's actually a beautiful book. Based on the style of the cover and stuff, you would assume it's probably been made in the last 50 years, which is fairly new. And yeah.
Okay.
When you open it, it does get into the Druid Order of the Seven. It tells you they were of the forests around Valkar, which obviously this whole area is the Valkar region. And their mission was to protect the lands from evil.
Okay. That sounds like something I'd be interested in reading. What was the name of that first book again?
The first book was 100 and Things Happening with Undead by Lord Rusevich of Stonehall Keep.
Okay. All right. I will sit down and start reading through these.
Okay. All right. With that, let's jump over to Eva, Renmer, and Meek. As you guys are walking, you see a large group of soldiers that are with a wagon near one of the more open temple. And the wagon is filled with treasure. I mean, you see gold, you see, gold-plated weapons, you see a throne that's gold. I mean, it's just all sorts of treasure. Diamonds. And you see on these soldiers' chests a scale. Perfectly balanced scale. It's kind of their emblem. And the soldiers are standing in a very uniform fashion, facing away from the wagon.
Do we know
perfectly
what
around it.
outfit they're with?
They look to be with a church rather than a, nation or anything.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to them, Renmer? Or, I mean, you can see their captain is very well outfitted. They're all wearing plate mail. They all have a shield and sword. All of them are pretty much identical make. The captain's is a little better. Has a nice jewel in it.
I mean, do I know what the scale represents? Like which specific group it is?
They happen to be with the Church of Tyr.
Tyr. Who are they, Eva? You know the ways of different churches and temples.
Would I know that?
Yes, you would. You would know that
I would
your
recognize
deity played a part in their deity having their hand chopped off or bit off.
This just got awkward.
He's the deity of law and justice. I don't know how
That's
important
Tyr.
that is to you, Eva, but you
That's
would
Tyr.
know how he ties to your deity a little bit.
Who is
Okay. So I think in her family, obviously, since her father is a crafter, a blacksmith, I think I think Gond would have been fairly regularly mentioned.
Mhm.
But it's she doesn't really follow.
Sure.
She doesn't like go to church and that kind of thing. Like
Sure.
um
And obviously it's a
I think-
pantheon, so you guys would probably know
Yeah.
a little bit about others as well.
yeah.
But there's
yeah,
usually
okay.
like, okay, I'm this, so this is my team, my home team.
Yeah. I think if I had to give her a label, she's probably a little bit agnostic, but I mean she respects the pantheon, but that's about it.
Mhm.
She hasn't she hasn't pledged herself to one or the other,
Sure.
basically. But I think given her family history, that would make sense that she would recognize it.
Mhm. As you guys are standing around, you see more soldiers bringing gold out of the temple, actually. And not much, but they're bringing like a small basket and adding it to the wagon.
Eva? From where do they hail? Who are these people?
The emblem is of Tia. I haven't the slightest idea what they're doing with us.
I've heard of Tyr, but
Mhm.
you know my father. He respect the gods, but don't rely on them.
Smart.
Yes. And he kind of like Renmore will kind of like go over to one of the soldiers and be like, "What has happened here? Where did you win this mighty prize?"
The guards standing around don't acknowledge you as you try to speak to them. However, the captain standing near the steps to this church, the community center, a priest comes out and thanks the captain and sees you trying to talk to a guard and says, "My boy, what are you doing over there?"
I was just inquiring on what had happened here, where this mighty prize had been won.
This is the gold for the king, the fallen king. We are honoring the king of Volkar, and we are taking this to the capital city.
And the warriors of Tyr do this?
They do at times. I mean, they represent our church, and we want to show good faith.
Does this make sense to me at all? Is this something that I've ever seen before here?
This is never something you guys have seen because you have never seen a king die. The gold dragon died, and he's explaining to you. Oops. Oh, I don't know what that
Would
is.
we be aware that the king had died? Or would this
You
be-
would have heard about it. You had heard he was sick before you
So
had
this
left.
is news. So this is news to us.
This is news to us. Yeah.
Yep.
We were in the
because
woods, right?
Last
Yes.
we heard, he was just
Oh.
sick.
We just
You guys had heard rumors before, but there was nothing confirming it. Since you
king
guys
is
have been
dead?
gone, you have heard he is dead. Yep.
the king is
Um,
dead.
Yes. Where have you been this last week? I mean, he's been sick, and
We have been in the marshes battling evil spellcasters.
We,
And he kind of like gestures down at his foot.
Remind me, what direction did we go and fight the Druid Lich in?
east.
Where did we go?
And the Volkar keep is even further east. Yeah.
We've been to the east. We've killed a Druid Lich this week.
The priest seems very surprised that there was any danger out that way. That's great. I mean, it sounds like you handled it, though. I mean, that's good.
Yes.
Was there anything else to worry about to the east? I mean, these men right here are going to be heading that direction, obviously.
Meek, do you still have one of those stick bugs with you?
Of course. And then I'll reach.
I think she gave it to Renmer, who took it into.
Did we just
Oh, yeah,
have the
Brenner
one?
He has the one she took a bite out of.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she had
I'll
more than
take out
one.
the one. Yeah, I think I put a handful of them.
Yeah.
Because I had the one I took a bite out of, and then while we were walking back, I put more in my bag.
Be wary of these creatures. They will burrow into your face and take control of your body. We had to slay several guards and merchants who had been enthralled by them.
I'm sorry.
The captain walks over and
You
says,
described that. I'm so done.
The captain says,
burrow into
"What?"
your face.
Wait,
Meek
wait,
is
wait.
like behind and like miming how it happened with the dead thing, like ah.
So I think Eva will gingerly grab it from Meek. Be like, let me take that for a moment. Watch out for these.
Rumor's like, I just told them that. I told them
yes,
why.
yes, and now I'm actually showing them one.
The captain kind of walks over around his men and looks at Renmer and taps on the crutch a little bit. That's a pretty weak crutch you got there.
It is recent and improvised.
Do you need something better?
I mean, I was
If you
hoping
have
that-
something better, then sure.
Yeah.
If not, we'll just make one later.
We can get you something better if you're interested. Priest, old boy. Surely you have something to help him. And the priest says, "Well, yes, we have lots of things that can help. Let me see what I can find. What is
Why
your
would you
name?"
be- My name is Renmore. Why would you be so concerned about some crippled fighter?
I mean, surely we can help you and show you some of our ways. What is it you are fighting these bugs for?
At the time, money. Now, I'm not really sure.
money.
See, what happened? What happened was a traveling merchant came into town and explained that his caravan had been attacked. And once we traveled east to investigate, the rest of his compatriots had these, and she'd hold it up again, controlling them.
And so you delivered swift justice, I assume?
Yes,
We
of
did.
course.
We freed those enthralled in the only way that they could be freed, and we killed all those responsible at some cost.
I appreciate your honesty.
Have we
Truth
mentioned
is
that
very
we fought a
important.
druid lich? Because we
I-
did that too.
let's-
We're
let's
impressive.
Just avoid
I'm gonna,
that
I'm
part.
gonna give Meek the stick bug back. Yes, darling, we have.
Let's
The
just
priest-
avoid
Oh, okay.
that part.
The priest kind of cringes at that and shrugs. And the captain has heard of a lich, clearly by his look on his face. He doesn't seem to believe what you guys are saying, the captain. Just because something like that, And he kind of looks and says, I'm sure you thought you fought a lich of some sort.
Oh no,
And-
that's exactly what happened.
Whatever it was,
Sure.
it was formidable. and
I can show
powerful.
you what he looked like. Will you believe me then?
How are you going to show me what he looks like?
I
I think
cast
I turned
disguise self on myself, and I turn
Yes.
into what the druid lich looked like, and I make
Oh.
Oh my god.
Okay, so as you do this, all right, I'm rolling 3 times. One
Okay.
for the soldiers, one for the captain,
Uh-huh.
and one for the priest.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm a very tiny druid lich,
Here we
but
go.
this is funny.
Oh my god.
Is the priest,
Insta kill. Boom.
captain, soldiers. Okay, so the priest is terrified and runs back into the church immediately.
Yep.
The captain kind of is like, okay, that's a cool trick, right? It doesn't phase him really. The soldiers all instantaneously get into a battle formation, and it's Renmer. You would say this is pretty impressive. One, how they did it so quickly. 2, how they all did the exact same thing in unison, shield
Yeah.
wall and everything. Ready
I'm gonna
to go.
pull my sword and just stand between the two of them and be like, "Put
Meek
your
is
weapons
oblivious
away."
that she
Yes.
caused this.
He is, and he turns back mostly harmless.
The captain tells his men, stand down, stand down. It's just a party trick. Stand down. And he steps up.
Renmore will put his sword away.
He steps up and takes Renmer off to the side and says, is that really what you guys saw?
Yes, we dug its eyes out with a dagger, and that seemed to kill it.
Oh, okay. So intelligence, tactical. I'm impressed. Whose idea was that?
I don't remember.
There's a lot going on at the time.
Garrick
It was Garrick's.
from the lich.
Is that what happened to your foot then?
Yes, that is what took my foot.
Oh, shame. The fact that you guys were able to fight something like that. That's impressive. I'm sure if you were in a better situation, we would be interested in hiring you. But,
I don't think I'll be seeking gold for that reason anymore.
gold's not that important. All
I
that
agree.
matters is swift justice, law and order.
Renmore's going to look at him with a new level of interest. What master is this that you serve?
Our god Tyr.
I know of Tyr, but I know very little.
He is the god of balance and order and justice. He's a good god. Not from good and evil standpoint, but law and order. I mean, you kind of know what you get, It's very important to strike those that bring chaos and unbalance to everything. And he's kind of hitting a lot of buzzwords that you notice, and he doesn't seem like he's a good salesman for the god per se.
He just seems kind of earnest.
Yeah, he's like, this is why I like it. I'm all about using my sword to strike those down that are against, the laws of our lands. You know, he says he doesn't like it when people steal or lie, and that's one of the things that endears him to Tyr.
This speaks to me, friend, but sadly, I highly doubt Tyr would have use of a cripple.
Tyr has use for everybody. If you can live by the laws of the land, I mean, surely you are doing a service to our God. And if you do decide to follow, there's plenty of things our church can offer you over time.
I shall think on this.
It's a good idea. Should you have questions?
Know about Tyr's physical condition?
What's that? Does Renmer know? Probably not. However, the priest kind of pokes back out and sees, is Meek still in the Druid Lich's look?
Yeah, but she's dancing.
so he's gonna stay inside.
Silly while she's like disguised as it. She's just being silly in it.
So the captain tells you if you would like to hear more, I love that you are interested. Our priest can give you more on that. And he tells you the priest here in this town who comes once a week, sometimes twice. His name is Priest
Judas.
No, I was gonna Toldor.
I'm sorry.
Is that the fellow inside there?
Yes, he's afraid of your friend's party trick.
He turns back and goes, Eva, would you mind if I went off and let you go about your business?
Not at all.
Yes,
I think at that I would also realize that Meek was still decked out as the Druid Lich. Be like, Meek, go ahead, Meek, drop it. We're good here.
Oh, okay. And then I'll drop it right away.
The captain quickly turns to his men and says, "Boys, we got to go. We got a long trip ahead." And as he does it, all of the guards kind of stand in formation. They go back to, their pose, and then all turn at the same time and start going with the wagon that's being pulled by a horse.
All right. And Renmore's going to go over and speak to the priest.
The priest is inside, so you're going inside?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as the soldiers march away, I'm kind of gonna turn to Meek and be like, they are rather stuffy, aren't they?
Yeah, and scaredy cats.
Renmer, as you go into the church, the door closes, and we'll stay with Eva and Meek for a minute.
All right, I'll be right back.
Eva and Meek, you guys make your way over to the temple of Gond.
So I don't think she would have gone directly to Gond's temple.
Oh, okay.
What did you say? Sure. There was one that was more of like just a
well, he's at the community one, which right now is being with Tyr and his followers there.
Oh, okay.
But there's others. I mean, is there another temple that stands out to you that you would be interested in going into?
I think she wouldn't have known where to start. I think she would have. Okay. I think she would have started at the community one, just because, like, it's not like she's like received any direct signs from anyone.
Okay. So, do you want to go back and talk to Tyr's priest with Renmer?
So, let me ask you this then. What exactly is in there?
So typically it's like a hall that you can walk into. Sometimes the community one is just a big open room, pretty much, with a back room. We'll say you've been there before for certain ceremonies or something for friends or whatever. But it's basically just a big open community room, a stone building. Nothing really decorative in this one. It might have different banners for the Pantheon. All of them that aren't represented, or all of them actually. But further emphasis on ones that aren't represented in town already. Okay. So like Tyr's banner would be bigger than, say, Gond's in this temple.
Sure. Yeah.
Whereas a couple of the other temples in town are dedicated strictly to like Ilmater or Gond or whatever.
Okay.
And there's probably a few priests of Tyr here, but the main one is the one that Renmer was talking to.
Okay. So Eva would turn to me. Now that we're here, I don't really know where to start.
You want me to point at one? I'll close my eyes. You spin me around in a circle, and then I'll walk toward the one that we go to.
Oh my god. How many temples do I see here?
I mean, there's a quite a few. A lot. Pretty much everything's represented. It's not even just Forgotten Realms deities. I mean, it's all sorts of deities.
Okay.
So if you want to point, I can roll for it. There's one right near you that you see two hands bound on a banner outside of it.
That's Ilmater, isn't it?
It is.
You know all about that, don't you?
I know just a touch, not much. I really don't know much. I'm not good on deities, I'll be honest, but I can, we'll just improv stuff.
Well, you know what? All right. I'll tell you what. How many are on this street?
10. Okay.
Pick a number between 1 and 10.
I can't count.
Oh my god! I'm gonna hold out 10 fingers and be like, pick one.
She'll pick your pinky on your right hand.
Okay.
Whichever number that corresponds to.
I believe.
That would be 10, right?
All right, so you want to go to the 10th one?
To me, that would be 10, yeah.
All right.
If I'm looking at it, that would be 10.
Let me pull one up.
Grant, you missed the shit out of that.
All right. So
dare I ask what is happening?
I asked Meek to pick a number between 1 and 10, and her first response was, "I can't count." So I just held out my hands and told her to grab a finger. So now we're going to a temple. I don't know which one.
That's all right. So you guys start walking down. You go to the 10th one.
Yeah.
As you walk down to the 10th one, you see a stone and volcanic rock looking building with a roof of clay tiles. Something about this is appealing to you. There was an advertisement that just blew my ears up.
Oh, shit. Yeah, get out of here.
And I'm sure they heard it on the stream, so I'm sorry.
Oh, whoops.
So anyways, it looks like a 2-story temple.
Okay.
And as you walk up to it, you see a man in front of you walk in with a red robe. As you open the door and walk in, there's a lot of people wearing red robes, you notice.
Okay.
They don't seem particularly inviting, but they don't seem to shun you either.
They're just kind of going about their business.
Yeah, they actually get quiet as they see you walk in. And the man who walked in front of you turns around and says, can we help you?
Well, maybe, my friend here and I, we just returned from some rather strange things. Trying to figure out an elegant way to say, we've seen some shit.
We've seen some shit.
So Meek, is your skin color red?
Yes.
Are you wearing a hood right now or no?
That's a good question. Normally she would be, but I feel like because she's getting more comfortable with this group and she's with Eva, that she probably has it down right now. And it's just like, I'm being myself.
They seem particularly interested in you. As you kind of step out from behind Eva, they kind of look at you and kind of smirk, and they say, "Oh, come on in. Are you familiar with our Lord of Flames, Kosef?"
So they see her
Kosu?
and they perk right up.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Have you heard the good word of burning the crap out of stuff?
I'm really good at burning stuff.
You are gonna fit in here just
That
fine.
you are.
Is this a cult?
No, this isn't a cult. This is for our Lord of Flames, Kosuth,
It's
the god of elemental fire.
Oh.
You guys look on the wall and you see a symbol of twining red flame around like an elemental fire. Yeah. I don't know, it's just
pretty
around.
cool.
It's like a fire thing. I don't know. I don't have a picture of it. So I'm
Yeah.
just, you know.
Meek
Oh
looks
my
like really
God.
confused and just like looks at like Eva like, is this what you wanted like to find? Like,
Well, they seem to like you a little more than me.
oh,
They like
That's-
your tricks.
should I turn into a lich again?
A lich. No, please don't
No,
bring
I
that in
I
here.
don't think
Are you,
that's
what? Huh? Are you like you're saying this in front of them and they all seem
Yeah,
very
yeah.
surprised. And like one of the guys off to the side steps out and you see flames just kind of appear in his hands.
Hold on. That's not necessary at all. Put those down, please.
What is going on here? What are you doing here?
Listen. I just want some help. We've killed a lich.
Hang on. Do you have gold or land you
Um,
can offer?
No. What do we need that for?
I have a foot, but it's mine. I'm not giving it to you.
A guy steps forward and says, "Pay no attention to these worms. I lead here. What can I help you with?" And he's looking at you, Eva, ignoring Meek and the rest around. And he kind of tells everyone else to stand back and go back to service. And they start
Dude with
walking.
the fire in his hands drops his hands and is just like, okay, all right. Myself and a few other companions, we've been gone for a few days. Well, long story short, we killed a lich in the swamps.
Okay.
And I'm suddenly able to do things that I couldn't do before.
Okay. Like, what do you mean, things?
Like, Meek, do you have a dagger?
Yeah.
Can I see
And-
it?
I like to think, how many do I have? I only have 2.
As you do that, you see the priest kind of put his hands inside of the coat of his robe behind his back. Like, both of them.
Hmm. I do like open my jacket up though, and you just see like 2 daggers, and I like just like give it gesture for you to take one.
Okay, so I'll take one. I'm not. My eyes aren't leaving the dude because he's obviously reaching for something. I was like, please, just watch for a moment. She'll take the dagger and push it to her arm and make maybe like a 2-3 inch cut on her forearm.
Okay.
She'll wipe off the blade and give it back to give it back to Meek. Just look at this. And then she'll put her fingers over the cut the same way that she did before and draw it across, and cut's not there anymore. Because lay on hands, bitch.
Do you need to touch it with your hand to do that?
I haven't tried any other way. I mean, here, Meek, cut my arm again. We could try it.
I can't do that
Why not?
because you're my friend.
He
Oh my
he
God.
stops you guys. Stop. Why don't you pledge yourselves to us and we can help you harness those skills? Come on in. We'll fill out some paperwork in the back and
Well,
get you going.
This seems
you just
very.
gotta give us a drop of your blood. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, I think I'm
This
done
has
here.
happened to me twice before, and I'm pretty sure this is a cult. I've already been through this before. Backstory now.
I'm pushing Meek out the door. Perhaps
Meek's
we'll
part of
think
two
about
cults.
it. I have an appointment with the healer. I've got to go.
Oh,
I'm-
surely
I'm
you don't want to go
walking the
anywhere
fuck
else.
outta
This is
here.
the place for you.
I
mean, look at your friend you brought
right
in.
now.
Guys, come back. Come back.
I'm shoving Meek out of this
Yeah.
fucking door. We're leaving.
The door
I
shuts
just-
behind you.
I like. Oh, okay. I was gonna
Magically.
say she's just like
Boom.
hissing like while she's going out and like thaumaturgy making her hair look crazy. That went well.
Sure.
Meek looks like she like was kind of having fun with that, but now she kind of like looks a little bit sad, like, oh, I didn't help my friend out.
No, that's all right. There's plenty of other temples to talk to.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find the right one.
Yeah. I'm not looking to dedicate myself to one, I guess. I just want someone who can explain why I can do that. And I'll like mime the thing that I just did and obviously look very concerned with myself.
You see a lot of different symbols, like I said, walking down the street. You see like what looks like an ocean wave being parted. You see a gauntlet, a shield, all sorts of different things. A scroll of some sort.
All right. So I think like as they're kind of meandering down the street looking at the different symbols and stuff like that, like nothing's jumping out to her.
Mhm.
I think at first she was kind of trying to avoid the temple that she knows that her father attends.
Okay.
But like as time goes on, she may go in. I think they would go into a couple of more, and for the sake of time, just similar things to what just happened in that first one would probably go down and be like, pledge to us first, and then we'll help you develop and harness that shit. And I'm just like, just want the information, thank you. Meek, get out, go.
But look at this trick. I try to juggle and it all just falls.
Oh, it's all right. I think after a while she's gonna end up in front of that temple.
Which one? Gron?
Yeah.
Okay. So you end up in front of Gron. Let me.
Gone.
Gon. Sorry.
There's no R in it.
I know. I keep. I don't know why I'm doing this. It stems from my Descent into Avernus game where we kept screwing up the name too.
Oh,
We had some guy's name kept coming up and we kept saying it wrong or something. I think it was the guard in Baldur's Gate.
Meek, is your dog trying to dig into the couch?
Yeah, can you hear it?
Yes.
Sorry, I should have muted. I didn't even think about it.
It's okay.
No,
I couldn't tell what it was.
Comfy, yeah.
Oh.
It's adorable.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So when you walk into the Temple of Gond, which obviously you're familiar with this place, you've been to it again.
Yeah.
Some of these temples you haven't been into. You just don't socialize with those types of people. But this one you're familiar with. And as you walk in, you see on display all sorts of crafts in the foyer area. Weapons to some other kinds of contraptions. All of it very finely crafted. And you would know by the clergy of the church. As you walk into the main hall, you can see a couple devout followers off to your right, just sitting there talking amongst each other. And you see clearly the priest who you know. You've talked to him before. And he sees you and holds his hands open and says, "Welcome, Eva, right? Evangeline?"
Yes, that's correct. It's been quite some time.
And he kind of holds his necklace. I'm so glad I got this necklace to remind me of everybody's names. So terrible otherwise.
Wait,
It's been a long time since I've seen you, Eva.
at first she's kind of confused about the necklace comment, but she's had enough and she's cutting right to the chase. I'm hoping you might be able to help me with something.
Sure, anything you need.
So she'll go through the story once again. They traveled east. They killed a lich, and now she can do shit that she couldn't do before.
Oh, honey, that's pretty common actually.
Common? What do you mean?
I mean, have you taken up your oath yet?
My oath? What are you talking about?
I mean, clearly you're some sort of paladin. Maybe you've been called by Gond himself.
What?
Yes.
None of this makes sense.
Have you spoke with anybody else about your powers?
Most of the street actually, but all they wanted was for me to join the ranks, and that's not really what I'm looking for right now.
I believe Gond is speaking to you, and you just don't know it yet.
No one's been speaking to me. At least not in that sense.
Are you wearing your ring?
Yes.
That ring, that's very fine. I like that.
Yes, my father gave it to me. It's been in the family for years.
Of course it has. He reaches down and grabs it and holds his hands over it.
Yeah.
Should you let him?
Yeah, I mean, like if he just like, I feel like he's offering his hand, like, may I see it? And she'll offer her hand and let him look at it.
He runs his fingers on it, and between his hands starts to glow around yours. And you feel this warm feeling from the ring itself. A pleasant feeling. And he tells you, this is a key.
Key? Key to what?
I do not know, but it's a key to something. I'm sure you'll know when you approach wherever the lock is.
All right.
Does your family know? They might be able to tell you. You would know your father has no idea.
I don't think so. He didn't mention anything when he gave it to me.
Maybe your grandparents know?
Are my grandparents even alive?
You're elves, so probably, right?
But probably not close by.
I don't know. We can talk about that out of game.
Okay.
we can figure out your whole family tree out of game.
Excellent. Okay. It's been a while since I've seen them. Your guess is as good as mine.
Interesting. I wonder if they made this in the name of Gond. It does have some nice natural craftsmanship to it.
Didn't my dad mention how long it's been in the family?
Yeah, and I don't remember. I'll have to go back and watch session 1 or 2.
Shit. Damn it.
Because we didn't update our notes. I was trying to look and I didn't see it.
Yeah. Shit.
So he tells you, yeah, clearly, your abilities are amazing. There's a lot of good you can do with those. Does your family know?
I think I would have. I don't think she would have gone into like complete detail, but I think she would have, I think she would have, at least mentioned it in passing.
So he proceeds to tell you.
I tell you what. I bet what she would have done was she probably would have tried to make it sound like not as impressive as it really was.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe just like chalk it up to the fact that she has elven blood and
right,
can do little things like that.
And if you would have talked it up, your father would have like basically dragged you down here to this temple in particularly to speak with somebody.
Probably.
It's like his thing.
Yeah.
So the priest will proceed to tell you, well, I mean, clearly you have some natural talents and somebody's speaking to you, but it sounds like you might need to look into taking up an oath and seeking the path of becoming a paladin.
Well, this was not what I was expecting.
And he tells you too, don't worry, it doesn't mean you have to come down here frequently. I mean, we can put you in contact with someone to help you, but it has nothing to do with belonging to a church or anything. It's divine power through your oath.
Well, you've given me much to think about.
He asks you, are you good at reading?
Yes.
He turns and walks over to a bookshelf and grabs one of them off the bottom and brings it over to you and says, this book, it might help you. And it doesn't have any title on it. It's just a blank book, but when you open it, you can see it's all about like being a paladin and representing Gond as a paladin.
It comes with a manual.
It's Gond for Dummies.
Yeah,
Yes!
I was about to say,
That's
how to
the
be
title.
A paladin for dummies.
It's inside the book.
Gond for Dummies.
Gond Paladin for Dummies.
Oh my god. What have I done?
Is there anything else I can help you with, Eva? If you want to stay and pray or just talk, maybe look at some of the other fine things that our clergy have crafted, I'd happily go over it with you.
I think I'm just gonna head home. Thank you for the book. I'll Meek, come on. I need to sit down.
Okay.
He looks at Meek and says, you're welcome to join our church as well, but I understand if it's not to your liking.
Yeah, I had a bad time with a cult before.
Oh, don't worry. There's no forcing your hand. I know how the places on this street can be. All right, and as that's going on, we will now cut back to Garrick. What are you doing, Garrick?
Holy shit.
So I've been reading. I started off with that 100 things happening with undead.
Yes.
Got through a good portion of that, switched over to the Druid Order of the Seven, and I've just been kind of pouring into that, trying to figure out if it has any clues to what it was that we encountered.
So the story gets pretty dark. The Druid Order of the Seven, there's 7 total, 6 sub druids, and then the leader, right? Like a master druid.
Mm-hmm.
They had been fighting things off in the forests for a long time, trying to keep it clean. You know, they were well respected in the kingdom for helping, but at the same time, part of their pact and them helping was that other interesting other surrounding towns couldn't just destroy the forest for lumber and things like that, and had to respect everything. So they kind of were policing it. But things got more difficult. There was a feud between the king and another ancient dragon. That it was believed the king had killed this ancient dragon, but not before it could cast a curse on these druids. And it did it surprisingly. Like, it did it without them knowing. It put an item in their hands that swayed them on a dark path and corrupted them to the point where even they started experimenting in the forest. Now, part of that curse actually had the main druid cast a sickness on the king of these lands. But that was all a rumor because, again, there was never any signs that the king got sick until recently, some of the rumors you've heard around town.
And did that ancient dragon have a name?
The bad one or I'm sorry, not the bad one. The one that was rivaling your king?
Yes.
I did not come up with the name. It's not mentioned in the book.
Okay.
The last chapter is all about how the druids got sick and corrupted, and then one day they disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing.
Oh, what's wrong? What happened? I missed it.
I think
we're all
it's
good.
fine.
Good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went to mute and I pressed stop video.
Oh, okay. No problem. So yes, the book is all about the druids. Very little talks about that dragon, other than they made an agreement with one, and it was sort of weird how they went about it, but it didn't go into too much detail.
Okay. And nothing about the druids eventually becoming undead, or
Nope, just that they got corrupted and sick and didn't act normal.
were there names for any of the druids?
Nope. The druids actually do not go by their names. They go by their rank.
Okay.
So there's the master druid, and then the rest are all just regular druids. They don't have there's just two hierarchies. There's, lesser and then the master.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. I will try to keep as much of that in memory as possible.
We have this document. I don't know if you guys know. We can update it. I'm just kidding. I need to do it too. I'll have to write stuff down.
So,
I was about to say, you're just as lazy as the rest of us. Shut up.
I'm terrible. I know. My other document, so that one's only a couple pages. My other one is 6 pages. Wait, no, that's that one. I don't know. It's pretty big.
all right. So,
Good. I just need to take pictures because I don't want to type it back out again.
am I fairly confident I've gotten the gist out of these 2 books?
Yeah, you know the story roughly. There's things that are fuzzy, like as they became more corrupted and stuff throughout the book, less is in there about it. It's more vague as you go on. So you've read all the great stuff about them, all the good things they did. How some swamplands from hundreds of years ago became beautiful forested areas and were thriving with wildlife. Since they became corrupted, wildlife fled, wasn't as abundant. Swamps started coming back. And since they disappeared, there's basically that area you guys were in that's just kind of like dead and rotted and things like that.
Okay. And then the 100 things happening with undead. Did I get pretty much the good gist of that one?
Yeah, I mean it's basically telling you different things they kind of involve themselves in. How most of them are very unintelligent. Liches they have the essence of their original selves. Things like that.
Okay. I would probably want to, if I've read the entire Order of the Seven, then I'll call that good. If I haven't, then I guess I'll continue studying that. I want to make sure I understand that one very well.
Okay.
When it comes to the 100 things happening with undead, I want to look for two main focuses in there.
Okay.
Any information about creating or destroying undead?
Okay. It doesn't go into that really. It does tell you to create it. There's different rituals. It tells you in order to find things like that, though, it's very hard to find the means to do it yourself. Like I said, it takes a lot of years of study. With that being a focus, trying to become a lich. Like if you wanted to be a forever caster, as it mentions in here, rather than outright saying lich, you would need to seek a lot of stuff out, in particular across the whole planet, like just everywhere, to find exactly what you would want to become a lich.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I can, when I'm confident I've gotten what I need out of those, I can turn those books back in.
Okay.
And then I'd like to ask one last thing. If there's any spell books available, I'm looking for a particular spell.
Oh, what spell are you looking for?
Comprehend languages.
Oh, okay. What do you think that school of magic would be? We might have something here. Let me look.
It's divination.
Divination. Okay. Let's roll for it. Roll percentiles. Let's say there's a 5%, or let's say there's a 25% chance it's here. So if you roll 25% or
13.
under. All right. Yes, we have it right here.
Okay. I will. Do I need to buy the scroll, or do I need to buy the book, or can I just take some time
he
to
tells
study
you
it and
that
copy it into my?
He tells you typically when people try to borrow these types of books, they don't tend to return, or they come back not fully intact. So he tells you would have to buy the book.
Okay. Well, I guess how much is it?
How much would it be to buy a spell?
I don't know for a book. A spell book is usually, I think, like 25 gold, but I mean, a lot of times they're on scrolls, so the scrolls are relatively cheap.
Yeah, let's assume it's just a scroll for that spell, but
Okay.
we'll say it's in a book form. It tells you all about it and whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, just whatever gold it is. If you want to look that up and mark that off, you're good.
Yep. So I will go ahead and pick that up. Let's see here. It is, wow, it says 44 gold pieces, so it's actually more expensive for the scroll than the book.
Well, book's usually blank when you buy a spell book.
Yeah, true.
That's
okay.
Why. Okay. So yeah, you
right.
can buy it if you got the gold.
Sure.
All right, Renmer. So you walk into the temple to talk to the priest.
Excuse me, I was outside and one of the soldiers had been talking to me about Tyr, but I'm afraid I don't know that much about him. Is there any player question? Is there any like iconography of Tyr in the temple or anything? Any visuals?
Yeah, I couldn't. So in here, well, it's mostly all sorts of deities because it's more for the pantheon. But he will point you to some of the iconography. I offhand could not make it out in the couple pictures I tried to find. So yeah. So anyways,
I believe Tyr is usually pictured with only one hand.
Okay. Yeah, and he's got like no eyes. He's like an old guy with one. Yeah. So he points over to a mural that they temporarily set up and says, "This is what some believe Tyr looks like."
He has been wounded, it appears.
Oh, he has. Would you like to hear the stories?
Yes. What has befallen him?
So he tells you the story of how his hand was bit off. Gond had tried to shackle Kazif, and when Kazif could not escape, he bit Tyr's hand off. And he goes on to tell you more about Tyr leading up to when Tyr stood up to Ao and the gods and said that he didn't. He spoke out against the gods' judgment of people, and Ao took his eyes after he spoke out about that.
Tyr seems to be a god of great conviction.
He is.
And the soldier outside made it seem that worship of Tyr is one of acts more than of words and prayer.
Yes, that is true.
This
Does that
appeals
sound
to me.
appealing to you?
This does appeal to me.
What is it about that appeals to you?
Well, I recently had a bit of an experience that made me think that the reason I was doing things was maybe I was naive. Perhaps I thought the world worked one way and I find out it worked another way. I will not seek gold or glory again. I think if I do something, it will be because it will help somebody.
Well, that sounds good. I
You say
mean,
it's done through
helping
act.
somebody is good. It's not as much about helping people as much as it is about justice and
I can
upholding the
help
law.
with this as well.
We can appreciate that.
I will bring justice. And he kind of looks and he says, "You say Gond is responsible for the lack of a hand?
Somewhat.
I think I know a follower of Gond who will be able to repay a newfound follower of Tyr in a way.
Sounds like a good idea.
I will see you again soon, Father." And he walks out and he
As you walk out, he says, "Stay true to yourself and never lie."
And Renmir kind of turns back and says, "I never have." And he turns back and keeps walking. And he's gonna just make a beeline back towards the Eva's father's workshop.
Okay.
That's gonna be it. So
All right. So let's take a quick little break, little potty break, and then we'll come back and say 5 minutes. All right. Feel free to jump into chat and talk too if you're not taking a break.
Yeah.
All right, we are back. Hope everyone's well hydrated and ready to get back into it. So, Renmer, you just left the temple. Eva and Meek, you sat down at the temple or you left the temple?
We left.
Okay.
I think.
I would say Eva and Meek, you guys took far longer than Renmer did at the
Yeah.
temple.
Yeah.
You know, we'll say that you guys got a pretty in-depth explanation of like paladins and the clergy, and they even before you left, they wanted to show you some of the contraption because they're so proud of the things that the clergy made. Renmer, you kind of got a crash course in your deity. They kind of went over his history quickly with you and kind of let you be on your way.
Yeah, and then
encouraging
I'm
him
going.
to
I
come
locked
back.
myself in. I spoke to Eva's father very briefly and just locked myself in the forge, and I'm just been in there for a while now.
Okay. Garrick, as you walk out of the library, you see 4 dragonborn soldiers or guards escorting your good friend. Well, not your good friend, but the advisor that you have heard about. And his name is Jagger. You can hear them, or you can hear him talking to himself and muttering things, but you can't quite make out what it is exactly.
They're escorting him where exactly?
It depends on how long you want to follow him. He seems to be heading towards the manor.
Okay. I guess I can casually follow behind.
Okay. So how close do you want to be?
Close enough to hear what they're saying.
Okay, so we'll say you get up on like, I don't know, within 10 feet of him, behind them. And you can hear him saying something about if Pieter could just keep things in order, we would not have these problems. And you can hear one of the guards who freely speaking with him saying, well, Pieter, yeah, that's just what he does. And these Dragonborn that are with Jagger are of the green kind. They're not the metallics.
Okay.
And
All right.
that's about all you kind of get out of it as they walk up to the manor and proceed to continue in. You kind of keep walking, and you walk by the really nice tavern in town.
Okay. I go ahead and as I turn off, I'll step in the alleyway just a moment. I will cast invisibility on Kraken, and I will tell Kraken to follow them.
Ooh.
Okay.
And then I will continue to watch through Kraken's eyes and ears. Not basically just, don't get caught. And I'll keep the concentration, and I will try to kind of switch back and forth so that I'm staying, hopefully within that 100 feet or so to kind of perceive what's going on.
Okay. So, nothing really assuming is happening. You're kind of seeing them walk up to the door. 2 of his escorts stayed at the gate with the other 2 guards at the gate that you can see. And there is kind of like a little small building right there.
I'll just have, invisibility lasts, for quite some time. So,
Sure.
up
Would
up to an
Kraken go
hour.
into the house or just watch from outside?
Yeah, I mean, he could go into the house if he
What's his
sees that
stealth?
there's.
What's his bonus for that?
Well, let's see here. It would just be a +2.
+2. And what would happen if he got caught? Would he
Well,
try
plus
to flee?
plus he
or-
has invisibility too, so it's not just that. I mean,
Sure.
it's they would have to hear that the bird is flying around, and then
Right.
they'd have to find him too. So
Or walking across the floor or something.
yeah, or walking across the floor or whatever.
He's fairly big too, isn't he?
Yeah, decent size.
Like
yeah,
3 feet or something?
Yeah, I'd say he's probably about the size of a cat or something like that.
Okay.
I mean, if he held his wings out, his wings would be a pretty good sized wingspan. But I mean, if he's just fluttering around, I mean, he'd be able to handle going through a window just fine. So yeah,
Okay.
I'd have him just kind of pay attention, and kind of float on through and see what he can see, and then essentially we can spend a little bit of time. It doesn't have to be right now, but I'd kind of like to, give him a little bit of time. And if something were to happen to him, like if someone were to notice him, I would just immediately recall him. So if
Okay.
someone tries to grab him or someone spots him, just immediately recall him. He'd vanish to a pocket dimension and he's
Okay.
just no longer there.
So
Hopefully while he's still invisible.
trying to get into the house, he does brush up against one of the guards, the last guard to walk in, and you see this and you recall. Well, you don't see it because he's kind of out of range, but you recall him back to you.
Okay.
Sorry, I rolled a 4.
Okay.
But they're on high alert now at the manor, so that's cool.
Okay.
So you guys start walking back to Eva's house. Eva and Meek will arrive first. And they hear, as they walk up, they hear someone in the shop. It's, later in the evening. Eva knows that her parents would not be out there working right now. And you just hear clink, 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 clink.
Muted.
Fuck. Oh. That's it's getting rather late. Excuse me. Wonder who's in the yard.
You want me to go check it out?
No, it's all right. It's either my father or I'm sure he's let someone back there.
I can be sneaky.
That's all right. Let's just head inside.
Meek nods and I'll follow you.
Okay.
Okay. She walks around the corner and sees the room, what does she see, Renmer?
Am I finished or am I still working?
It would take you're making your foot, right?
Yeah.
I would think that would take a while unless you want it to just be a crude lump of metal.
So you see Renmore working over very determinedly a piece of metal. Just like he's still shaping it right now. So he's still taking some pretty heavy hammer blows to it. And it is just like determined, locked in, just thung, thung, thung. And then like putting it back in the heat. And he turns back and goes, Eva, I trust your trip to the temple was fruitful.
That's one word for it.
He smiles and just goes, You are a chosen warrior, are you not?
I wouldn't go that far just yet. There's still a lot to study on.
Renmar just goes back to hammering without any malice. He just says, "You always were the talented one." Because it makes sense. It should be you.
If he's gone back to hammering, then she'll have nothing to say.
Do you want some help? I can make fire.
Yes, that would be most useful, me. Please stay and help.
Oh
I will stay with Renmer. I was like, I also can I see that like what you're making?
It's probably starting to take shape, and but it's not looking like a foot per se. It's looking more like a boot.
Okay. What are you making?
I'm making a new foot.
Oh, well, I have your old one if that'll help, like with measurements or anything, and I'll take your foot out and just put it like not like just nearby on something so that it's out.
It may, Meek. It may.
When she does, it looks surprisingly fresh.
Yeah.
Even the wound is like not there. Like it's like a lump. Like she did something to it and you don't know
Just
what.
in that like reassuring, like kind of like just like it may, Meek, it may help. Just stay and keep the fire hot. I need the fire very, very hot for this part.
Meek nods and like happily like just will cast firebolt when she can to just keep everything hot and then just try to keep out of the way, but just like really happy that you've accepted her help.
And Renmore's just happy for the company. So
as you're kind of doing this, Eamon Silveris walks out, Eva's dad, and says, What are you doing out here, Renmer? I mean, I know you were trying to forge something, but you didn't specify exactly what you were working on.
I'm crafting myself a new foot.
Oh. Well, that's a lot harder than you would think. I mean, you want it to be stable enough to use, correct?
Indeed, that's why I am modeling it on a pair of boots I was planning on making for myself for my first campaign.
He comes over and says, can I see the boot?
Yeah, and he like shows the initial shaping that he has.
And this is an actual, like, you have the boot you're modeling it after in your hand?
It's starting to take the shape of like a general boot with like a scoop for him to put what is left of his leg in it and like spacing for harnessing and attachment and all that. Sure. And it's generally in shape, and now the like cosmetic work is going to begin.
Okay. As you're doing this, he kind of looks at it and walks over and starts going through some drawers in his room of some things he's made before. He hands you some stuff and says, here, I've made prosthetics before. It's not something I specialize in, but here's some extra pieces. And he gives you some leather straps and things that you could strap it really good to your leg with. And he says, with practice, you'll get this. This isn't your first time, is it?
Forging, no. Making a prosthetic foot, yes.
He tells you if you give him some time, he could probably make something pretty good for you in the next day or two.
I would prefer this to be my own work, though any advice or critique you have is appreciated.
Okay. I can respect that. Just stay out of my forge during the day when I'm working, or when the wife is out here working.
I shall work through the night.
Sounds good. He tells you should have something that works before morning.
And I'm gonna make sure that he's gonna spend most of the night making it look more boot-like, so it doesn't stick out as a metal foot per se. And then he's also going to put the T rune on it for tier.
He does tell you to keep it hot, but not too hot. Don't let it get away from you. You'll know, you'll feel it. It's all in the feel.
None. Thank you. I shall, as if this all goes awry, I will be speaking to you in the morning.
Just don't burn down the house.
I will attempt to. And he turns to me, goes, Meek, let's just keep the fire under control.
I can do that, I think. Probably.
She's quite reliable, actually. I have literally trusted her with my life.
You turn around and just a little bit of her hair is like slowly on fire.
Oh no.
And then just starts patting it out.
You have a little, okay, you got it.
Garrick, you arrive as you see a flame come from the side of it, come from where they are. And you hear Meek go, ah! Which happens to catch your Kraken's attention. And he says, that's Meek! That's Meek!
Yes.
All right. If I'm hearing some yelling, I guess run in and take a look and see what's going on.
Sure, you come around and see what's going on. You are now with everybody.
Okay. So I guess just study what's being made here. Is it fairly obvious that he's trying to make a prosthetic?
Not necessarily. It looks like a lump that's kind of shaped like an L at this point, but it's kind of, bulk. It doesn't look like it's quite there yet, but he's making something interesting.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess just kind of look and watch what he's doing, and just I guess keeping out of the way.
All right. Eva, your dad went back inside. So what are you doing? Are you staying out here with everybody? That's not a leading question, by the way. I'm just just curious.
No. Yeah. I think I would for a little bit.
Okay.
But if there's not a whole lot of conversation or anything going on, after a while she'd probably go inside after her dad.
Okay. When you go inside, you can see your family. It looks like they're setting up to have everybody inside. They pulled out the benches that they don't normally pull out for guests.
Oh, that's good.
And they ask you, will everyone be staying for supper? I mean, we've already eaten, but I mean, I know you guys have been out all day. I don't know what you've been doing. That's your father, by the way.
Yeah. I'm sure we'd like a place to talk and kind of gather ourselves, but I think we've each been kind of doing our own thing. Well, except for Meek here. She came with me.
I know
wait,
Garrick
Meek's still outside.
I know Garrick prefers ale, correct?
Yes, I believe he does.
I think we still have some ale around here. Let me see what I can pull out for him. I know he drinks a lot, like we discussed. Hopefully, I can keep him satisfied.
So is it just me and my dad right now?
Yes.
Okay, so he's kind of rummaging through. He's probably rummaging through the pantry or something, trying to find some ale. She would take the book out and kind of let it fall to the table. It makes a pretty hefty smack on the table.
He pulls a small barrel out, and as he turns, he sees the book, and says, "What is that?"
What was the priest's name from the temple?
That is not the one. I don't know. What was his name, Eva? I'm just gonna ask you.
I don't know.
I mean, you were the one talking to him. You were the one talking to him.
Yeah, you're right. To the internet, because I can't think of this shit on the fly.
No, you're fine. Just keep going. I'll pull something up.
Okay. A friend of yours gave me that.
His name is Whiston.
Okay.
Wistan.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's how she responds. She's like, a friend of yours gave me that.
And he opens it and is like, "Was this from Whiston?"
Yes.
Why would he give you this?
He seems to think that might be what I am.
Why would he think that?
Do you remember the little tricks and such that I mentioned I'd learned that I was able to do?
Vaguely. I mean, you didn't say they were tricks. You said, "Hey, this thing happened." But you downplayed it. Were you able to do some of this stuff?
I downplayed it because I didn't know where it was coming from.
I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? Why didn't you tell me sooner? You should have went sooner.
I didn't understand it. I went today because I didn't know who else to talk to.
So what is the plan? What?
I don't know. This is all so much.
I mean, surely you're going to go back and see Whiston again soon.
I told him I would read the book and talk to him again. it's a lot to take on. She just kind of nervously giggles. There's like she's like this is all really really fucking weird.
Eva, you've always been exceptional at things. I mean, you are a great smith, and clearly with these abilities, there's other things you can be great at too. If I knew you could do this, I wouldn't have had such a problem with you going out with Renmer so much.
Well, I didn't know I could do it either.
Someone has to protect that buffoon. I mean, he's always getting himself into problems.
Oh my god.
I mean,
I
come
don't know
on.
I don't know what's better. Just my dad's
He would
blatant
never say this in front of Renmer. by the way.
No, of course not. Just my dad's blatant statement or Grant's reaction.
So
what's
you would know
better.
your father thinks that at times Renmer in the past can be
He's an
reckless and puts himself in situations where trial by combat isn't a bad thing.
Clearly.
That's what started
that's
this
fine.
whole Corona thing, right?
That's fair.
So, yeah, if I knew you had these gifts, I mean, surely I wouldn't be pushing you into smithing. I would just try to get Jeremiah more into it.
Like I said, I didn't know that I had them either until I was gone.
Okay. Well, I mean, we got to figure this out. I mean, this changes everything.
Yes.
I mean, what can we do to help?
I don't even know where to start.
I mean, first you got to read the book, I guess, and then see Whiston again and
Yes.
see what you should do. I mean, yeah,
This is
this is
not-
overwhelming to me. Your father like sets the keg down and sits down at the table, puts his hand on his head.
He's like, this is overwhelming. It's like, you think?
Like, this really changes everything for me. I really thought you were going to take over the family business. I mean, I thought that's where things were going. Like I said, you were a natural.
She has nothing to add to that. I mean, like,
Tell your friends to get in
probably-
here.
I think by that point she had probably sat down at the bench and is fiddling with the ring.
I'm glad to see you wearing the family ring.
That jars her memory because Whiston mentioned the ring.
Mhm.
Obviously we're going to talk about how long it's been in the family.
I just don't remember.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I want to say it's been at least 2 generations, maybe.
I think we said
3?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's go with 3. If we got to fix it later, we'll fix it later.
Sure. And you would know your grandparents aren't even with you anymore. It's just your parents at this point. And your parents are older.
So
Elves,
he
but they look like they don't look old. I mean, they're
yeah,
elves, so
Yeah.
or half elves or something. I don't even remember.
Dad's an elf.
Yeah, Dad's
Mom
an
might
elf,
be
so
getting
he's
up
old.
there in age.
Yes, there you go. She's
might
probably
be
like a
getting up
good
there.
35, which in medieval times is getting up there.
Oh,
Or 40
Okay.
or something. Well, you got young siblings.
oh yeah, that's true.
See, so I got to take that into account.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, your dad's old.
So he mentions the ring, and that immediately snaps her back to, Whiston mentioned that actually. He says it's a key. But to what? I don't know.
I never heard anything about this. I just knew it was in the family for some reason.
I didn't think so either.
Interesting.
Do you know where it was? Do you know where it was crafted?
Yes, it was crafted by our ancestors.
I mean, where?
Oh, I mean, probably at their shop. I mean, I would assume. I mean,
Do you know where that is?
well, it's not around anymore.
I don't know what he could possibly be talking about. It's just a ring.
I mean, it's got to be, a couple hundred years old at least at this point. I mean, yeah, it could come from, I don't know, our original tribes or something. I don't know. A key to what? What would it unlock possibly?
He didn't say. He just said I would know it when I was there.
Must be something important. I mean, our family is from around these parts, so if I find out anything, I'll let you know. I can ask. I can see if I can get a hold of any of my brothers or sisters.
Would there be any books in the library that talk about lineage of the primary families here in the village?
Probably. It's a very small town, so there's not, even the library here is pretty small. I mean, most of the books here are pretty old. There would probably be something about family history if you are native here. But I would say because your family's kind of split, your dad's maybe his noble background comes from like his elven culture, not necessarily from this town per se.
Yeah. Okay.
So there wouldn't be a lot here.
Sure. Okay. Huh.
I'm going to tell your friends to come in. Let's start having some drinks. Let's absorb this. Do your friends know about all your abilities?
They witnessed most of what I did, and Meek heard the entire talk between myself and Weston.
Okay. He opens the door and says, Renmer, why don't you take a break and join us for at least a couple drinks? It'll help you relax and help you get a really good feel for what you're doing out there. Just don't overdo it like Garrick.
Very well. It probably needs a moment to settle for a second, and he comes in. Meek, you can let the fire die for a bit. We'll get it going again later.
Meek will stop and follow you in.
And Garrick, I brought out the ale I've had. Now this is about 3 decades old ale, so it's really good.
Ooh,
well,
excellent.
Garrick, I have a bit of a gift also, and Renmore reaches into his bag and takes out the dwarven wine he was carrying and said, "You were waiting on drinking this, were you not?"
Oh yes,
wait,
I was.
I thought
Yeah,
Garrick had
was.
that.
I was going to pull that out. Well, I pull out my bottle and set my bottle down too.
Oh shit!
And I say I was saving it, too. So,
Eva, your dad like shakes his head, has one drink, and starts walking upstairs.
Oh my god! Good night.
Cheers.
Oh god.
Yep.
Pull me another.
Now, the spices that I have, do they seem like something that would go like into a spiced wine, or are they just general cooking spices?
They're general cooking spices.
Okay.
I think Eva would pour some of the dwarven ale into her special teacup too. Just to feel fancy as shit.
Is it a sippy cup?
No.
Oh.
Meek has a sippy cup.
Meek has a sippy cup.
Yeah. We can give a Meek a sippy cup of dwarven wine. Just see what happens.
Mistakes.
It's gonna get crazy and on fire.
Yeah.
Awesome.
God.
So with you guys drinking, possibly talking about your new abilities, what you uncovered at the library, if you feel like it, or any of that stuff, we'll end the session there. Okay. And let everyone, if you want to plug anything, you're more than welcome to. Whoever wants to start can go ahead.
Go for it.
Don't all talk at once. Oh, Meek wants to go first.
Oh, I do?
Renmer says so.
I guess I have my Friday game.
You have 2 cults to promote, right?
I have 2 cults to promote. I have Meek's backstory to get into more as far as why was she in a cult? We don't know. We'll figure it out. But as far as what I've got going on, I'm Lady Tiefling. If you follow me on Twitch, we'll be streaming Descend into Avernus on 5 p.m. on Fridays, and that's about it. Yeah.
Renmer, go next. About choking people.
At TP Grant on Twitter. You can follow me for grappling and tabletop gaming. Tabletop gaming wise, I am just starting to delve into the world of Age of Sigmar. I have started building my first army. I'm going dwarves from the cities of Sigmar. So I'm going to be posting painting pictures and all that sort of goodness. So as I slowly build my army up from the starter set into hopefully a build that'll be fun to play at game stores, not really looking to get into competitive play.
So that's like wargaming, correct?
Yeah, it is. It is. The Age of Sigmar is the new fantasy Warhammer. So it has replaced Warhammer. I decided not to go 40K. I decided I like the fantasy aesthetic a little bit more.
So do you do battle reports for that? Or how's that? Like I've heard people talk about battle reports when they talk about war.
I don't fully know what that is. I would maybe that's associated with 40K or tournament play, but
Okay.
I'll be posting about it when I'm playing. I did my first game last Saturday and I borrowed a Stormcast Eternal army and I had a good time. I lost it in the mid game. I had some slight positioning errors that ended up costing me when they sent some fucking monsters down the center and I didn't have enough to deal with it.
Right.
I did actually wipe the opponent's army. I just didn't have enough time to claim the objectives and win. So
you're gonna have to work on that. And we need to see some more pictures and video of you choking people out or getting choked out.
I will attempt to provide those also.
All right. You can post them in the Discord too.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Garrick. I know he's got a lot of stuff to promote.
Yeah, I've got the same things I always promote. Nothing. So. Calloused on Twitch, Calloused on Twitter. I stream every once in a while.
What do you stream
tweet
exactly?
Every once in a while.
D&D and stuff?
Sunday I stream Starfinder.
Mm.
So.
And how long have you been playing with that group?
Geez, I don't know. 8 games now, 9 games, something like that.
Oh, okay. Do you do like once a month or?
No, it's every Sunday.
Oh,
every Sunday about 10 a.m. Eastern.
Oh,
so
okay.
it might start just a little bit later, just kind of depending on what's going on. So
do you know if my auto hosting has been working?
I don't know.
Okay.
Know.
I set it up. I don't know if it's doing it. I've only seen Jake's games on here.
So with auto host, Calloused, it's not going to alert you if it happens. You know how usually you would get an alert when somebody hosts you. With auto host, it doesn't actually do that. It doesn't let you know that somebody is auto hosting you.
Gotcha.
So it may very well be working. It's just not telling you that it is.
Gotcha.
I'll check it out next time.
All right, cool. Courtney.
Yo.
Plug your stuff.
Okay. Let's see. I don't have any more streams this week. I may do something over the weekend just on my channel at Cornelius on Twitch. Mondays, I start off the day with at Caution Nerds for Curse of Strahd. That's at 9 a.m. Central Time. At 1 p.m. Central Time, I'm hanging with my friends from Salt and Sassy at Salt and Sassy on Twitch, and we're playing some homebrew shit. It's 5e. I'm playing a bard. I'm playing a gnome bard that may or may not have dragon wings in her back because Dragon Scarred is her background, and there's some weird shit going on. And then, of course, here on Wednesdays, I'm also considering adding another stream to Mondays to my own channel. I'm thinking about reintroducing Metaphysics Mondays, which is something that I used to do on my channel like a year ago.
And what is that exactly? What do you do on there?
So I would show people how to use tarot decks. And I would also make jewelry out of different crystals and stones that I've collected. I'm a rock collector. Surprise.
Gotcha.
Um, and so I know how to do thread wrapping, and so I would do like arts and crafts, talk about tarot, talk about crystals, and then play video games because why the fuck not? So that was something that I used to do on Mondays when I actually had a schedule for my streams, and I'm thinking about reintroducing that
Okay. Cool.
because I'll officially have Mondays off after this week.
So I obviously I'm doing YouTube videos. I do the Twitch thing. I am opening up, if anyone's interested, whether you're watching this later or not, if anybody's interested in running games, I posted in the Discord just a few minutes ago. But they're not wanting to worry about OBS or any of this other stuff. I will happily produce it for anyone who wants to just play in games and run games. You can find players in our group. I can even help you try to find players if you're looking for it. But I'm thinking of, something like a Monday night. I have availability to do that. And because I can listen to it while doing other things, it shouldn't be a big time constraint on me. And it's just something I want to do to kind of add another Twitch stream on Mondays, as well as possibly add another video on YouTube. So if this is something you guys are interested in, send me a message and we'll see if we can work something out. On YouTube, I did a player tips video this week, and I think I will have a couple more videos by the end of the week. I recorded quite a few last weekend, and I'm just sitting on them. So I have to edit some of them and get them out there, but life. So anyways, you can follow that by going and typing in Juce, Juce 734 into YouTube. You can find that. I've got this game on Wednesday nights I stream. I've got a Friday night game I stream. We just started doing our shows, my wife and I, on Sundays, where we talk for about an hour about various things. This past Sunday, it was our favorite races and classes. If you want to find out what she thinks I was full of bullshit on, go and watch the replay on that. She is wrong.
I still need to watch that. I haven't caught up on it yet.
Yeah, she said what I said about a class is complete bullshit. And so yeah, you guys go be the judge. And I don't think it was. But I think she was thinking about it differently than I am. Yeah, and then this week, I don't remember what we're going to talk about this Sunday, but I'm sure it'll be funny to watch us go back and forth and do what we do, because we're really good at bickering. So it's what we do best. But yeah.
Did anybody actually make a roll for anything tonight, or was it just straight RP?
I had no.
I think it was straight RP tonight.
It
Holy
was.
hell.
I had Garrick roll just a percentile to see if he found a certain book.
Wow,
And that was
shit.
it. And he had a 25% chance and he got it. I should have made him roll for both books. But yeah, it was
Okay.
not a problem.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Good. So I'm going to say bye. I'm going to take this off air and we can talk for a second.
Okay.
And yeah. So have a good one, guys. And we'll see you guys next time.